guy. What if I was given free reign of the next Smash game? No restrictions, no trying to appease others, just who would I choose? I listed out my initial thoughts and made a roster of 98 or 99 characters, so I rounded up to an even 100. Right off the bat, let me say, I do not care about echoes here. I think they're an extra tack on, so I didn't even consider them. I wanted every single character to have their own unique feel. Nothing is sacred besides the original 8, so let's begin there. Mario! I want to start with every Mario character that's consistently important. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Bowser. Beyond that, Bowser Jr. is cool, Rosalina is fine, and then, because I can, I'm throwing in both Mallow and Geno. Mario RPGs are awesome, and these are the two best creations to come out of them. They immediately have powers I'd like to play in Smash Bros, with Mallow and his weather abilities and silly weapons, and Geno with his arsenal and magic spells. Also, I've still got Wario as his own thing, and that's it. Donkey Kong. Hero, sidekick, villain. Already very pleasing, but I'd still love to add Dixie Kong. She's the hero of her own game, and I think a hair-based fighting style would be fun. Zelda. It's one of the biggest Nintendo series with some of the best characters, so why do we have 3 Links? Just one single representative Link, Zelda, and a Ganondorf that actually fights like Ganondorf. We don't need another Falcon Punch and Falcon Kick. I want more, but how do I choose? Let's start with Impa, basically a Sheik replacement that's actually a different character with some new moves and Sheikah Slate powers. Beyond that, I went with a theme, 4 champions, Daruk, Mipha, Urbosa, Revali. Why them? I can use them to represent elements and characters from across the series. Imagine this, Daruk. Half his ults make him Darunia instead. His moveset combines classic Goron abilities, Fire Sage powers, and the Boulder Breaker / Megaton Hammer. Mipha, half ults Rudo, uses Zora abilities, Water Sage powers, and Trident. Urbosa, half ults Naburu, uses the awesome Gerudo Dual Scimitar fighting style with lightning powers. And Revali, character focused on archery and wind-based powers. I guess half his ults could be Tiba, since there's really no one else who fits. And along with this, ults for the rest of the Zelda characters showcasing appearances from different entries. Metroid, Samus. Again, one single good representative Samus. Yes, I know Dark Samus is a separate entity and has lots of cool powers, but I just don't like the dark character trope. There's much more interesting ways to do a rival than a darker colored evil version. You know what's better? Ravenbeak! Awesome Chozo Warrior? Yes, ma'am, this is what we're going with, and we're keeping Ridley too. Yoshi! I want all the original 8 to have their rivals, and I think Kamek would be a great addition with his magical powers. I would go so far as to say that this is now Nintendo's biggest villain to not be playable yet. Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, Bandana Waddle Dee. That's a finished set there. Star Fox, they're just 3 variants of each other. I'll keep Wolf as a rival, but you know who brings something new to the table? Crystal. Magic Staff, lots of powers, cool combos. I'm bringing in Crystal. Fox can keep the classic moveset, and for Wolf, how about all the weapons and gear just sitting around from Star Fox Assault? After all, it was his first time being playable, and he was the best character in the game. Pokemon! Well, obviously we have to have Pikachu, and if I'm making my own choices, there's no way I'm not using Meowth. Honestly, I like a lot of the rest. Pokemon Trainer is a cool idea, Mewtwo is the legendary Pokemon, Lucario is a big deal, Greninja is a big deal, and I like Incineroar. It's a type of character I would want in Smash anyway. There's just 3 more things I want. 1. A fully dedicated Grass Starter. Grass Starters are my favorite, and I'm tired of being like, maybe this is the one they'll add, maybe this is the one they'll add. Just give me Sceptile. It's my favorite Pokemon, and it was one of Ash's best. 2. Hisuian Zoroark, because it's awesome. 3. Pokemon is still Nintendo's biggest series and constantly adding new monsters, so I want to keep showcasing that. For Scarlet and Violet, I like Tinkaton. I think it's interesting, well-designed, and would be really fun for Smash Brothers. Now how about other Nintendo series? I think Mr. Game & Watch is neat. I'm definitely keeping Little Mac. Duck Hunt is an icon. I was on the fence about Ice Climbers. Of all the NES classics to revive, why this one? But I had the room, I'd hate to delete an entire universe, and I like how they bring back the long-lost characters. On that note, I've wanted Takamaru in Smash for a while now. As for Pit, I'm treating Kid Icarus as a, let's say, honorary original 8. Pit, Palutena, and Medusa as the series' classic villain. Rob is a fun novelty, gotta have Captain Falcon, gotta have Ness, I'm adding Lip. I've always loved the Nintendo Puzzle League games, and I'm sold on the idea of a puzzle-themed Smash character. You need something from Animal Crossing, and I like the Villager. You need something from Pikmin, and I want to see an expansion on this Olimar Alf thing. Why stop there? Let's go full Koopa Kid and have all the captains. Now, I want a few more of the unrepresented franchises. I'm adding Isaac for Golden Sun, I'm adding Karate Joe as a rhythm fighter, and I'm adding Andy as a representative for Nintendo Wars as a whole. I'm envisioning an engineer, summoner type moveset where he builds various vehicles, weapons, and infantry to attack and fight for him. We need Inkling, of course, and I want Min Min. I like ARMS. I'm keeping Wii Fit Trainer because it's funny. I like this tradition of adding the totally out there characters that nobody thought of or asked for, but that also makes it hard to think of a good one that nobody has already presented on the internet. Okay, I think I've got one. I'm calling it Clubhouse President, based on this menu icon from Clubhouse 51. He's a giant, dapper ace of diamonds who fights with moves based on many Clubhouse games, like toy boxing, advancing large chess pieces, and making combos with randomly generated Hanafuda cards. Maybe a gambler archetype. Okay. Xenoblade. Actually, I think the characters and abilities here really change between games, so not only am I keeping Shulk and Pyramithra, I'm totally adding something from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's going to be Noah and Mio in some fashion, but I'm giving Mio the lead. I think her fighting style is much more distinct, and meanwhile Noah will support with Interlink. I am overhauling Fire Emblem. It's a huge series with many different worlds, but what makes each individual entry interesting is the variety of characters and how their weapons match up. I think you can compromise between having main characters and having that variety. Here's how I'm doing my lineup. Sword, Marth, the classic. Lance, Azura. Forget what's been done outside of Fire Emblem Fates. Within Fates, this girl is the poster child. She exclusively fights with lances and comes with magical songs and water powers. Axe, Edelgard. Simultaneously main lord and main villain, legendary axe, heavy armor, dark magic, battalions, so many unique elements all rolled into one character. Tome, Robin. Yes, Robin can wield both tomes and swords, but in Fire Emblem Awakening specifically, there's very little need to. Tomes wreck everything. Bow, Anna. While Anna is not exclusively a bow user, it is one of her most consistent strengths, and I think you could combine this with Anna's use of staves, making her a trickster that utilizes both archery and special moves like warp and freeze. And as a finisher, Tiki, playable dragon. Let's wrap this up with third-party characters. I'm not cutting anything out of here. Each one is a hero of their own games, each bringing their own world and their own powers. Snake, Sonic, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Ryu, okay, and then Ken is far different enough to count as his own character. I'm giving him his own non-Echo slot, and I'm fine with this one exception as a mirror to Mario and Luigi. Cloud, Bayonetta, Simon Belmont, and then let's just make him an avatar for all Belmonts. An alt for Richter, an alt for Trevor, etc., etc. Joker, Hero, Banjo-Kazooie, Terry, Steve, Sephiroth, Kazuya, Sora. Whew. Now, I like my classic third parties, the characters with long histories as Nintendo icons. In the name of that, I'm adding Hayabusa, Bomberman, Goemon, and Chrono. There were a lot more I considered, but ultimately didn't pick for one reason or another because I didn't want to absolutely flood the roster with third-party characters. As it is, there's still about a fourth of the entire thing. As more personal choices, I'm including Rayman and Phoenix Wright, two characters that are simply indicative of my own experience as a Nintendo gamer. I'm also adding Dr. Eggman. With Sephiroth in the roster, I just felt like this was the big third-party villain missing. And then, all things considered, there were two final characters that I guess you could say are more recent impacts or instant classics that I thought would just make great and fitting Smash characters. Sans and 2B. That's pretty much it besides the Mii fighters. I absolutely want them for Mii costumes and because of standout games like Miitopia, but there are, once again, three things I want. 1, the costumes from Miitopia. I want to be able to recreate my heroes. 2, for the sake of player creativity, all Mii costumes are usable in Brawler, Sword Fighter, and Gunner form. Just make up some kind of gun and stick for every costume. 3, the Mii character creator from Miitopia. Please and thank you. And that's my roster for if I was in charge. If you don't like it, make your own. Comment below. Seriously, it's fun. Or just grill me for all the veterans I cut. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for the next video.